So I work for the Faculty of Social Sciences. So we teach um, a little bit of a different content. Um, we teach introductory courses and second and third year courses to all of the students in our um, department. And so they are all more users of statistics versus, teaching them the mathematical side of the spectrum. So we have students that study psychology, sociology, anything in the educational sciences, etc. So we actually also teach students at UCU. And in the educational program, it's the PABO in the Netherlands, or ALPO, it's academic teachers program. So we have a wide array of students who follow our courses. And our courses mainly consist of a combination of research methods and applied statistics. So it's very different from a probability and statistics course. So since we were talking about revising courses, our revisions started more than 10 years ago, and we spend about 2.5 to 3 years working on this with the entire department. And so we used to teach a separate methodology course and a separate statistics course, and we also wanted to integrate the two. So I'm all for integration. So our courses are now more geared towards the entire research cycle. So starting with the research question and the choices researchers make for different data collection methods and all the pros and cons that come with that. And we even teach a little bit about qualitative research, etc. The class sizes, they vary a lot. We have classes that are just 20 students, but our first year course consists of almost 1,700. So we have varying challenges with the different courses that we teach. Let's see. And even though the sizes are very different, most of our courses have the same type of formats. So we usually have, a lecture, and we try to make our lectures as interactive as possible. Even when I teach to 600 students at once, no, attendance is not 100%. So usually there's about, a max of about 300 in the room. But I still try to make it interactive with questions for the students, or times where they can discuss things, etc. We have discussion sections, we have lab work, we have assignments, projects, and of course our exams. And that leads us to our first major. Oh, sorry. Where do we actually use Grasple? Well, like I said, I met Pim. Did we meet in 2015 or 16, something like that? It's been a long time.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Yes. So we actually started using Grasple a long time ago, and we use it for a lot of different things. We have lessons for extra practice. We have lessons to teach certain topics that we don't teach in class. We have a lot of lessons where they learn how to use the computer software, and whether that is what we used to use SPSS, now we use JASP or the NVivo for qualitative analyses. So we use Grasple for that. Things to do with homework, etc. So we use Grasple for a lot. And just like the previous presentation, our students prepare things before they come to class. whether that is a lecture or a discussion section, or whether it is a meeting that talks about the project. Then they have to, know how to use the computer program, etc. So that's pretty much all we use Grasple for. We have some formative tests, etc. as well. So that brings us to our innovation. I'm not sure if it's an innovation, but it's something that we have done recently. And there's nothing on this slide because I first want to talk about an educational headache, which is, of course, AI. I don't know about all of you, but we've had many, many meetings, either within the department or the faculty or the entire university, about use of AI and how to use it, how to not use it, what to do, the communication towards students, etc. But that is a big headache for us because one of the things that we require students to do before they come to our discussion sections is to do a preparatory assignment. So usually it's reading an article and answering some questions about the article. For instance, they were supposed to phrase the research question, think about the type of sample that was used, and we talk about the 4 different forms of validity. So the internal validity, the external validity, construct validity, and the statistical validity of articles, and they have to comment about those and come up with pros and cons and good things and bad things and ways to improve the bad things. So that was mostly like the preparatory assignments that the students do weekly. But since last year or 2 years ago, our instructors were really just grading Mr. ChatGPT instead of the students. So they were doing a lot of busy work, even though we knew 100% for sure that most of the students just fed the assignment into chat and turned in whatever came out of it, because some of the answers were ridiculous, or one of the final questions in the preparatory assignment is usually, what would you like to see the instructor explain a little bit more in more detail? Or are there any topics that you find really difficult? And then, of course, if you were to answer that, you would say, I find this and this topic difficult. But if chat answers that question, it will say, you should probably answer the following, and they would turn that in. So it was very obvious. So what have we done to make it more difficult for students to feed this into chat is Grasple. So what have we done? We have split the preparatory assignments into little chunks, and for each chunk, we made a separate Grasple lesson with lots of questions along the way. And, you can't ask a full open question in Grasple. So we found our ways around it, instead of phrase the research question in your own words, it might be a multiple choice question that will ask in which sentence can you find most information about the research question. And then we had like the first few words of several sentences that are in the article. So they would still really need to read the article to be able to answer that. And instead of having just one Grasple lesson, we have actually made the preparatory assignment into a sequence of lessons. So, it is not easy to just click through the lesson and fulfill the requirement. It is a requirement for the course. So we try to make it as difficult as possible, to make it easy to click through or to make it easy to feed it into chat. The idea is, and that would be, our ideal. It took a lot of hours to develop this. So what we would like to do is finish each sequence with a small formative test, but we have not gotten there yet. So that is how we decided to include Grasple as an answer to making it more difficult for the students to use AI. Let's see. There we go. So sometimes we actually tell the students to write something down, or maybe they have to draw a path model of a particular, like the article might talk about an ANCOVA. So we have to them draw the path model for the ANCOVA. And then we will ask them in the Grasple lesson to bring that to class on paper, hand drawn. So we're really encouraging the students to read the article, because that's the prime goal, to understand the statistics and the research methodology in the article. Then sometimes they have to bring that to class. And with the beta version of the teacher platform, or what is that called? The dashboard. It's easy for each instructor of each separate section to check the work of the students. So that's how we went around that problem. So what are our challenges? Well, the main thing is AI. I think that is a real challenge in our education. We have challenges with more demanding students that feel entitled. I don't know if anybody has encountered that in their education. Time management is something more on the teacher side. One thing that we encounter quite a bit, and it has gone all the way to the Board of Appeals, is lower language skills and lower math skills. So some of the questions that we get about our exams have nothing to do with research methods or statistics, but about the language we use in our exam questions. And I think that is a big problem. Yes, GenAI is a problem. Lack of interest. I think that the previous person also said that our courses are mandatory for all of the social science students. And I think the majority of high school students who choose to do a social science do not choose social sciences because they are strong in analytical thinking and mathematical skills. So they don't enjoy our class until they write their bachelor or master thesis, and then they say, "Oh, I learned so much in that class." But during the class, they don't really enjoy it. So that was it for me.